Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Free Advice Friday. Looking forward to this one today. Hunter Peterson joining me, and we are going to talk all about YouTube on YouTube. Just before we dive into this, I want to point out two quick things. There is a link, if you look in the chat, for a Google form. So Hunter has a YouTube course that we will certainly be talking about today, a YouTube course for voice actors. And he has generously decided to give away 2 copies of that course just to people who are watching the live stream today. And so if you would like to have your name entered in the draw to win that course, it's a $299 US value. There's a link that has been pinned in the chat. So make sure that you check that out and fill that Google form out. And then probably about 1:45 Eastern, we're going to cut that off, and then we will do the draw right before the end of the live stream today. So make sure that you check that out. So Hunter, thank you for that, and welcome to Free Advice Friday.
Thank you for having me. This is my first Free Advice Friday, but not the first time I've done a podcast with you.
Yeah, so, we did the podcast there a couple weeks ago, and definitely generated a lot of interest. There are a lot of voice actors that would really like to figure out this whole YouTube deal. And I know that you are someone that can help us to do that. And so looking forward to spending time. You got an outline for a video right there up there on the board already?
No, I was pointing out. So these are my
the award. I see the award there.
Yeah. So that's my silver play button, my gold play button. I'm still annoyed about this. When I was working at Mr. Beast and we hit 10 million on Beast Philanthropy, a lot of the videos that I did kind of pushed us there pretty quickly, like faster than everyone expected. So I was like, can I get a diamond play button, please? But I'd rather get a diamond for one of my own channels or a client's channel. But you know, with Mr. Beast, like they can build 10 million channels like it's no one's business. So that's my wall. And then
what are the benchmarks? Give it for the bronze and the silver or whatever. Like, give us the benchmarks. So, what do we need to hit if we want to get one of those?
So silver is 100,000 subscribers. Gold is 1 million. Diamond is 10 million. And then weirdly, there's kind of like an ocean of sort of physical awards from diamond to ruby, which is 100 million subscribers. So PewDiePie, Mr. Beast, T-Series, Sony India. There's a couple channels that have 100 million. But then there's some like random awards. Like some companies have gotten like a 20 million award for whatever reason, a 50 million. It makes no sense. But the
kind of
ones
random at that point then.
It is kind of random.
Yeah.
But so to give you guys an idea, there are more than, I think 85 million active YouTube channels. Of that kind of number, 300,000 have a silver, 30,000 have a gold, 2,000 have a diamond, and only a handful have rubies or specific awards. So it is a pretty major threshold. Sure. When you hit 100K, that's when you're really starting to make a decent amount of revenue. Gold is really like your mainline income is coming from YouTube. So yeah, it is. It's cool to have on the wall. But
I'm working my way there. Then I've only got like 96,000 more subscribers to go, and I can get the first. I can hit the first benchmark. So
again, if you make the barbecue channel, you'll get there faster.
But make the yes, that's the key here. Well, I want to thank everybody for coming in and joining and watching. Again, make sure you check out that comment that's pinned up at the top of the live chat there. That is where you can fill out the Google form for the opportunity to win a copy of Hunter's class. So make sure that you sign up for that. Welcome, Heather. Welcome, Peter, Nevin, Richard, Joan, Francis, CJ, Susan. Thank you everybody for watching. This is going to be a good one today. Of course, if you do have a question that you would like to ask Hunter about YouTube, type your question into the comments. I would just ask if you could put a Q beside it, and that way it just is a little bit easier for me to see in the chat. But it is absolutely open floor, and happy to take your questions. I want to ask you something. I read an interesting statistic because I'm putting together a marketing class right now, And I read yesterday that there are YouTube Shorts have now surpassed 50 billion views per day.
Correct.
50 billion with a B views per day.
Yes.
So if we're going to start a channel that we want to use as part of our marketing strategy, are we leaning more towards shorts at this point, or is it long form content, or is it a mix of both?
So it's really about what are you after and what are you trying to achieve with your channel. And the focus here really needs to be in, are you after revenue or are you after audience? Are you after eyeballs? With any strategy that I do for my Fortune 100 clients, my consulting clients, or even my coaching clients, it's an even mix of shorts and longs. Shorts will get you the viewership. Shorts will get you numbers. They'll get you subscribers. They'll get you traction. But if you really want long-term revenue, if you want long-term value, it's going to be in the longs. An example that I love to give is the focus that we need to be doing per month is 4 long-form videos. And when I say long-form videos, I mean 16:9 standard YouTube videos. When I say short form on YouTube, that is 9:16. You want to be posting a minimum of 4 of these long forms a month. And a long form video is anywhere from more than a minute to really it can be as any length possible. 9:16 short form is anything under 1 minute. You should be doing 4 long forms a month, and I would say a minimum of 15 through 20 shorts a month if you really want to, be building traction. And something around that, that I have to say as a disclaimer, that is a ton of content. So if you don't have
almost daily, right?
It almost.
Yeah.
So if you're at 20, so some of the channels that I run are at 20 shorts a month. So that's 5 shorts a week. So normally my upload schedule will be Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday or Sunday, depending on which day tracks better. Normally it's Saturday. So, that's kind of there. And then for our long forms, we'll normally do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and sometimes we'll do Wednesday uploads, depending on the channel. So Big Apple voiceover, what kind of revenue for 100,000 followers? It really depends on the niche that you're in. For example, if you had a channel where you are talking about credit cards, or you're talking about real estate, or anything that's around personal finance, if you are monetized at 100,000 followers and you're talking about finance in particular, that is the most valuable niche on YouTube, because you have banks, you have loan companies, you have credit card companies that are actively trying to buy the real estate on your video. And if you have high AVD, which is average view duration, you can then expect revenue, like net revenue to you, not what they're paying for your ad space, to you, of between $10 and $30 per 1,000 views. One of my clients from a consulting standpoint is Sabri Subi, he's a shark on Australian Shark Tank. Incredible guy, really great marketer. He has a book called Sell Like Crazy. I highly suggest it for anyone who wants to talk about marketing, really gets in the mindset. This man has sold more than $7.8 billion worth of product for his clients. Like he's
done all right.
He's done all right. A video we just posted has a net per 1,000 views of $25.40.
Wow.
So essentially what that means is not every view is going to count towards your monetization. You can basically expect between 75% and 80% of a video's view count to actually count towards monetization. But even with a video that has 100,000 views, right? Take 80 times your RPM. That's how much the video has made. So say a video has a $10 RPM with, say, 80,000 views that are eligible. You just made $800 there. And the thing with YouTube monetization, and monetization across any platform, think of it as an annuity around the content that you're making. Okay. If Mark was to start a VO barbecue channel, what would be some good hooks? Stephen Blair coming out the gate with the hook question. We love that. A good hook will always be anything that stops scroll makes someone think and engages. So whether that's a declarative statement, whether that's a question, whether that's a negative that becomes a positive, say if you want to make the best brisket, if you want to make the best possible brisket, don't do this, and show something that he doesn't want to do and make it physical, right? So if that's his hook, make it a declarative statement, come from a place of authority. In a barbecue channel where you're teaching someone, going through the process of, I wish I knew blank when I was first starting, or saying, today we're going to make 36-hour coffee rubbed brisket, right? And you're going through process. You're making a video that's just on process. You need to show final product first and then go into process, not product. Because by you saying, today we're going to make, and you're showing what you're making, you're then setting up your audience's expectation for what is going to come at the end. When you have a reason for someone to watch through your content, that increases your CTR, your click-through rate, and it increases your AVD, or for shorts, it's APV, which is average percentage viewed. So really those hooks are going to come down to trial and error and A/Bing, of figuring out what works for you, figuring out what works for your content, and double downing constantly. What are your thoughts on the short forms being snippets of the long form ones, or should they be standalone? So that is traditionally known as cut down content. So like, say in our long form example, we have 4 pieces that could easily be short form cut downs. These can work, but the thing is, these will not have the same impact as a standalone idea. If you have a great idea for a video where you can create complementary content, so say you make a long form video, you have a couple cut downs, but you have something that didn't exactly fit in the video, but is still a good standalone idea where you could get out a 30-second, 45-second video, have it be a standalone. Have your strategy be a mix of cut downs and standalone pieces of content. They are valuable, especially if you're using something like Munch. For those of you that don't know, it's getmunch.com, which I had an affiliate link. It's an AI system that cuts down long form content into shorts. I use it only to find good moments. And from those moments, like for a long form podcast that I consult on for a client, it will give me about like 30 or 40 cut downs that it thinks are good. Of those 30 or 40, I'll probably only choose 10. Yeah. So I'm very precise for what I'm looking for story, but I know if I'm going to put out content, if I'm going to send out content to an editor, I really am specific of, I need you to focus on great long form content. If you're making short form, get out the cut downs first, like find the fastest way possible to just get out the content. But if you're going to make an individual short, really make sure it has something to say. Don't just put out content for the sake of putting out content.
I've definitely used that strategy of taking our 1 hour podcast episode, right? I was able to take our 1 hour interview, cut it down into 5 shorts or something like that, based on reading through the transcript and saying, okay, this was a really good clip, or that's going to make a really good piece or whatever. And I figured, better than nothing, right? Like the idea of trying to create a 1 hour live stream every week and create a 1 hour podcast every week and then try to create short form content. I was like, holy crap, I can't do it all. So
it's literally, it becomes impossible.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, well, at least if I cut down, and I guess the nice thing I like about it too, and this is something that's new in YouTube, is the ability to link those shorts back to a video, right? It gives you the option to tie that short back. So if I'm posting shorts from the podcast, it ties it back to the long form version as well.
I will say though, caveat to that tool, you may think that it is really powerful. And in the beginning, I thought it was too. In my experience, it's going to move the needle a little bit. It's not going to make or break a video. What's going to make or break the video is the actual quality of content that you're putting out. Peter, how much time do you usually spend editing long form, and when is it worth it to hire an editor? Really good question. Depends on the content. I have editors who will turn around content for me within 48 hours. I like, full disclosure, my consultancy, we have, oh gosh, we've contracted an agency to handle our editors, but I've trained these editors. Like, they know what I need, based on specific client needs, wants, preferences. Um, I think I have like probably 15 or 20 on contract right now, like across a bunch of different clients. But that said, in the beginning, you should be editing your own content. And it's going to take however long it's going to take. But if you're spending more than 2 days on your first edit, stop. Get the video out, just finish it, put it out, and learn from it. Your first 100 videos are going to be terrible, and they should be terrible. No, and like I'm absolutely
It's
serious.
just like your first voiceover demo, right? It's like your first 100 auditions.
It's going to be bad, and that's okay, because otherwise, like, if you put out something that's perfect, I literally, when I was in the course, so the YouTube course that Mark kind of talked about earlier, I hold office hours, 9 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. Sometimes we go to 10, but obviously today is Free Advice Friday, so I'm here. But I was talking with Stenson Turner, who, awesome talent, has a really great idea for an automotive channel. He is very much in the analysis paralysis of wants to be perfect. No. With content creation in the beginning, just get it out.
Yeah.
Put it out, learn from it, double down on what worked, understand what didn't, so that you don't do it again.
Incremental improvement along the way, right? It's better
correct.
than not doing anything.
Correct. When you should hire an editor is when you can afford to hire an editor. Whether your channel is making money, whether you can dedicate a budget from your business. Don't hire an editor right now, because you also don't know what you're looking for as a creator. So there's that. Is a YouTube presence necessary prior to email marketing? No, it's not. Because here's the thing: the strategy to have a YouTube channel, and I'm going to say this to literally anyone who will ask, you don't need a YouTube channel. I personally believe that people do, because it has, and also, yes, that's Get Munch, MUNCH, really great service, highly suggested. You don't need a YouTube channel. You really, really don't. But if you want to take this seriously, if you want to find other avenues of revenue generation, of SEO optimization, of traction in general, right? YouTube is the world's second largest search engine. Like, we forget about that. We think of it as just entertainment. It's not just entertainment. What it is an opportunity to build a wealth of backlinks for the content that you're already posting. Because if you, in your description, have a link to your voiceover site, and your video suddenly goes viral, does 100,000, 200, 400,000 views, suddenly you have a high quality backlink that's pointing back to your YouTube, not only your YouTube channel, but also your voiceover website.
You talked about Get Munch. I'm curious about, so I just discovered Autopod. Somebody, Peter, who's actually watching right now, mentioned Autopod to me. So I've been using Autopod on the podcast videos, because it allows me to take, when I record an interview, I have the feed that is my camera, the feed that is my guest camera, and then I have a feed that is the grid, which is, the two of us side by side. So basically 3 camera angles. So I can take those 3 camera angles for a 1-hour podcast, put it in Adobe Premiere, click the button on Autopod, and it will, in about 2 minutes, it will break it up, bouncing back and forth based on who's talking and all that. Like, it's massive time saver. Is it perfect? No. Is it like 90% there and massive time saver? Yes. So I've been a big fan of that. I'm just curious, are there any other tools that you are using for your editing that we should be aware of?
You pretty much hit the 2 that I use a lot on the head. I'm trying to think if there's anything else, because I use Autopod, I use Get Munch. For some copywriting, I will use Jasper AI if I need to test out an idea, or even ChatGPT sometimes, but I don't really use a lot of that. I use it more as to bounce ideas back and forth, and then from there I'll just kind of double down further. But I don't really use a ton of AI editors right now, because I have a team, right? I have editors that I can lean on, that I know that they already get out good quality content. It's more of using them purely as tools, not as the end all be all for all of my content creation.
Right.
What's up, Uncle Roy? How's it going? I'm
curious about this one from Peter, because we touched on this a little bit. If you're making 10 clips from a podcast, what about the timing? How do you release that? Do you have a
really good question.
Release schedule?
So I do. So if we go back to our example here, you're creating shorts out of a pod, right? Keep in mind, especially if you have an interesting podcast where you have like a well-known guest on,
like a YouTube consultant, or somebody who's worked for Mr. Beast, for example.
Me. If this is day one of pod release, right? So if we start here, and say you release an episode of your podcast every week. So say here we're on Friday. And you're able to create 10 clips. How I would strategize is, because we're D7 and now we're on pod 2, I would then say in your first 24 hours, clip 1. And then after that, because this is Friday, we're on Saturday. Saturday is a great day for traction. And also people are actually and actively putting out content. I would then say put out another clip on Monday. So Sunday doesn't normally get traction. Could for your channel. Totally depends. But then, focus on, you have 10 pieces of content. So now we have 9 to distribute. Focus on trying to get out 1 to 2 shorts a day in the lead up to your podcast. Because here's the thing. By putting out that amount of content, because yes, you could easily spread it out, but if you have a regular upload schedule, find a way to get out with some accuracy 1 to 2 clips every 48 hours at least. Because at that point, like in our example here, where we have a week apart of content, I can say we've got clip 1 here, we've got 2 and 3 here, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and I totally messed this up, whatever. So Thursday, and then we'll have Friday here. So we'll have 2 and 3, 4 and 5, 5 and 2, 4 and 5, 6 and 7, and then 8 or 9. And then same day as podcast release, we can have clip 10 go out earlier in the morning, and then podcast goes live, and the whole process starts over again. The focus here needs to be in constant and consistent posting. If you're not doing that already, then the algorithm won't help. You can optimize your content as much as possible, but it's really not going to matter. So I think the focus needs to really be in constant, consistent posting, rather than saying like, oh, I have 10 clips, I can spread them out over 10 days. If you're only uploading 1 piece of content every, over the course of 10 days, you're basically telling the algorithm, cool, every 10 days, I'll post something new. And instead of that, you're really just kind of stringing them out along. Now, instead, with my examples, I have the best clip out of the podcast, that's released on Saturday. That's a high traffic day. But then if I'm releasing a clip in the morning, a clip in the evening, I'm able to hit different demographics and different audience members at specific times. In the lead up, obviously this works for a once a week release and you're actively putting out content. This seems like a lot, but yet we're in a step period. And what I mean by step period is with every post and every time that you will post content, this happens all the time. You're going to see this. This is going to be from first upload. It's literally a test. First upload, you're going to see probably like 1.5K viewers, right? If you're a new channel. And then it's going to flatline for a bit. And then when you post another clip, that same clip that got 1.5 viewers will get a boost from the other clip, another step. And you're going to see that until it starts to then track up and have a positive trend line. And why is that? Because an algorithm only sorts. And when it is sorting, it is boosting older content until that older content finds a new audience, and the algorithm is able to prototype it. So boost from first post, boost from another post, boost from another post, testing. The algorithm has now found a new audience that relates to your content, and it trends up further. That is algorithmic growth. That is all algorithms are doing. It is just trying to find the ideal audience. And you may say, oh, I've been shadow banned. Oh, I have no views. You have no views because your packaging, your title, or your thumbnail, or just your content in general isn't appealing to a wide enough audience. In my talk at One Voice, Evocation, and also I'm going to have this at VO Atlanta, I tell so many voice actors, do not make a voiceover channel. Because think about the actual niche and industry of voiceover. It is tiny in comparison to anyone else. It is not as vibrant of a niche as, say, baseball or car or automotive or anime, right? We want to think about our content creation from a funnel standpoint. We want to think about how much of an audience can we actually grab in our funnel, and where are we in the funnel? Because if you make car review videos, you're top of funnel. But if you make automotive paint fixing or like whatever, like restoration, you go further down in the funnel because there's less of an audience that's actively searching and engaging in that content. So,
I want to do this question from Suzanne, because I think this is a really good question that a lot of people are going to be wondering about. We're voice actors. We're used to being in the booth. We don't want to be on camera necessarily. Is it okay to post shorts that don't show your face? Like, does that make a difference?
I literally own a channel.
Tell us about Intres, Hunter.
Yeah. I'm so glad you brought this up. So sometimes I'll get bored and I will just create channels to test ideas. And one of those tests was a channel called Intres. And it was literally just me reading funny, interesting, and unique historical facts and phrasing the videos as questions. Who was the homeless Canadian Leatherman? What was the crash and unsolved mystery of TWA Flight 800? This channel, I like on YouTube, it did okay. On TikTok, I did 17,000 followers in 60 days. It has more than 2 million views. I don't really post on it anymore because, you know, I'm not as really engaged in creating content on here because I really wanted to show I could build a channel quickly. And so for here, you know, I would then, when I was actively posting, and I was posting once a day on this channel, and it was just historical facts. This doesn't show my face at all. It is just my voice. And it's all historical facts. Because of that, you know, we were averaging like 30,000 views per short, 140, I think most viewed short has like 1.5 million views. Again, this one is more so like it really popped off on TikTok. And this channel has made me probably like a couple grand. And these videos took me no time at all to edit. I did them all myself. I voiced them myself. You don't need to show your face on camera, or you don't need to be on camera to create content. You can just use your voice. We're voice actors. Think about like if you were to create review videos of like, say you're really passionate about woodworking, or you're really passionate about like restoration of tools, and you find someone who restores a tool or they're restoring something, and you just take their content, walk them through of how they're like what their process is if there's no audio on it, or even if you're doing that yourself. All you're doing then is just utilizing your voice with other pieces of content. How could you then maybe explain concepts or ideas or something like that in your niche or industry or your specific focus that you know better than anyone else? Faceless YouTube is kind of a title that's thrown around with like a lot of like YouTube automation gurus and stuff like that. But faceless channels work because they're easy to produce content. You're basically building everything in post-production. That's it.
I got a question. This is a selfish question because you mentioned that you built this channel. It's made you a couple grand or whatever. So you have your YouTube channel. You have your subscribers. You hit monetization.
Yep.
When you added Intres, you added that as a second channel to your account. Is that correct?
Yeah. I just made a brand new. Yeah, I made a brand new email and just created a new YouTube channel.
So do you have to hit monetization on Intres on its own, or because it's your channel,
It has to be on its own.
It has to be on
You,
its own. Okay.
yeah. So when you make a brand new channel, there is no carryover, right?
Okay.
Each channel by itself has to hit monetization. It has to hit threshold. You can't have carryover. Like, this is unethical, but you know, a gray area is you could buy a YouTube channel that's already monetized and then fully rebrand it and make it your own, and you already have monetization. The issue with
Right.
that is, like, if there's any amount of a built-in audience and you suddenly start producing content on it, you're going to entirely alienate that audience, because they're expecting something else. You know, say you buy a tech review channel and then you're making content around cooking, you know, people subscribe for tech reviews.
Right.
And then you are basically back at square one. So the focus really needs to be in actively making good quality content, constantly and consistently, and doubling down on those ideas, because then if you're doing that, you will hit monetization. It's not a matter of if, it is a matter of when, so long as you're willing to put in a concerted effort into creation.
Okay. This is an interesting question from Haley. Can you talk about live streaming like we're doing right now? Is it monetized the same way? I can tell you, Hunter, by the end of this live stream, between you and me, like, you will have made me probably between 12 and 17 cents. And so
I better see that in spades. Live streams are able to be monetized, but they're not able to be monetized in the same way as like Kick or Twitch or something like that. Like, you can have people who can donate, and have channel memberships. There's like, I am big nerd, so I watch NASA Spaceflight live. They're a channel where they literally just live stream rocket launches, and so they live stream like Starlink launches, testing at Starbase for Starship, or like the Ariane rocket or ULA. Their live streams, they'll make probably like $3,000 and $4,000, and they'll have like 30 or 40,000 people watching, because it's a rocket go boom. You know, like,
so what you're telling me is I should have had a rocket launch on the show today. We could have got a lot more people that would have watched. I understand.
But here's the thing: if you do like a one-off thing, that's not going to be as interesting as if you're instead consistently, like, NASA Spaceflight started, I want to say, in 2018, 2019, with the announcement that SpaceX was going to build Starship at Boca Chica. And so they started streaming all the tests from Boca Chica. And that channel grew so quickly. And now it's at almost 900,000 subscribers over the course of like a 3-year period, because they've only been streaming and producing content around the industry that's now building out of Boca Chica and then also Cape Canaveral. So, you know, there's a lot there. Hi from Germany, late to the party. Well, at least you're here. Cool.
Let's do this one, because this is, I think, another one. Should you post the same content on YouTube and TikTok? Because I think this is something we question, right? Okay, I created short form content, so that 9:16 works on TikTok, Shorts, Reels. Do you post it across the board?
So for Intres, I posted on Facebook. So Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels, TikTok, YouTube, and Snapchat. So Snapchat, actually, I just got approval literally like a month ago to turn Intres into a Snapchat show. And if you build a Snapchat show, you make stupid money on Snapchat. Like that's something that I'm actively testing out. And I literally hired a consultant just to kind of help my consultants and my consultancy be able to better position ourselves, because Snapchat shows now will literally, like, if someone clicks on your show and they're watching your content, so you're basically linking shorts all together, it will play like 3 shorts in a row, then play an ad. And if they're still watching after that ad for more shorts of yours, then you earn the majority of that ad revenue. And that ad revenue is adding up to 8 or 9 RPM. Like $9 per 1,000 views on any platform is good. But you know, where Intres was at, for example, we made like our best month on Facebook. We made like, gosh, I want to say like $2,500, because we did like 4 million views. And that was like in the very beginning. We weren't even monetized for mid-roll ads. We were monetized for just like in stream ads. So instead of like something like pausing, like you can skip this ad in like 5 seconds. All this to say, I aggregate out all content at the exact same time, or I will aggregate it based on my heat map of knowing when an audience is actually online.
Because that may be different for, right? Like, and when you say heat map, you're saying Tuesday in the
Correct.
afternoon on one platform versus Wednesday morning on another platform or something like that. So you're paying attention to that data. You're
Right.
talking monetization. Let's take this one from Jennifer. The magic number of subscribers you need. So let's talk about YouTube monetization, because there's two different ways to go about this, right?
There are indeed. Okay, so your first level of monetization is going to be 500 subscribers, and you are going to hit because they recently just updated this. 500 subscribers will get you to a specific threshold where you're going to be able to be eligible for channel memberships, and subscriptions and stuff of that sort. Like people can donate and say thanks. Like that's your first level of monetization. I call that baby monetization. The real deal is going to be, and this is what you should actually be striving for. I don't even give a shit, honestly. Sorry for my language, about baby monetization. Full bore monetization, RPM, is going to be 1,000 subscribers and either 4,000 watch hours on your long form 16:9 content or 10 million views on your short form content. For long form watch hours, it's 365 days. For short form content, it's 10 million views over 90 days. And that seems impossible. But when you understand that there are channels out there that are putting out 3 shorts a day with other people's content that they've just repurposed, and they're hitting 9 and 10 million views a short, that's really not that much.
What it really says is we got way too much spare time to sit around and watch YouTube shorts all day long.
Dude,
I think
I literally have watched all of The Sopranos from YouTube Shorts. I don't need to watch The Sopranos because I know the exact show. But those channels can't be monetized in traditional way because they're obviously uploading copywritten content, but yet they're still able to make money because they're putting affiliate links to Amazon Prime, Showtime Prime, or Showtime Plus, whatever it is, in their pinned comments. So anytime someone signs up to watch The Sopranos with those links, that channel is then making a specific amount of revenue on the clips for pre-created content. And these channels are making like $4,000 and $5,000 a month just by putting out content for other clips. Like there's this guy called PB the Creator on YouTube, and he posts Suits, White Collar, Burn Notice, Gravity Falls, Breaking Bad, Walking Dead. Like he has cut up, literally probably thrown like full episodes, handbraked episodes of like this content into Munch, and Munch has probably spat out like 40 or 50 shorts. He's then uploaded them, thrown in affiliate links, and then just churns out like 3 and 4 shorts a day.
So his monetization is coming from the affiliate links. It's not coming from YouTube
entirely,
because you couldn't monetize that through YouTube, right? Because of copyright. Correct. So let's talk about that, because I think this is a really important distinction. Yes, you can hit with your 500 subscribers, your 4,000 watch hours. You can hit YouTube monetization. I hit YouTube monetization last year. I got there once before, then they changed the rules and I lost it, and then I finally got my way back there again. I'm making like $10 a month. Like YouTube monetization is not like for me, my channel, whatever, it's not where the money comes from. And so I want to make sure that people understand that there's more than one way to monetize YouTube. So for me, it's not what YouTube pays me for the ads that's making me money at this point. It's because people watch my content, and maybe you're going to go and buy one of my courses, or you're going to sign up for a coaching session with me. And so that's where the monetization comes from for me. Talk a little bit more about affiliates, because I want to make sure people understand that. And then, are there other means of monetizing YouTube?
Totally. So with affiliates, to start, anytime that you post a link that has your specific tracker on it, right? Whether that's from Amazon, whether that's like, for example, Marc has been promoting my YouTube course, and anyone who buys my course through that link, he then receives a portion of that revenue because of his traffic going to my page, finishing sort of like, it is a very common way that people are making revenue right now. But if you look at any major creator and you look at their description, you'll see my gear list or my suggested equipment list. Like there's a chef that my wife adores, J. Kenji Lopez Alt. I love his content as well. Super great. He has he has Amazon links to all of his equipment in his descriptions. So if you want to buy his wok, if you want to buy the knives that he uses, they're linked through on Amazon that you can buy. And then from that, he will then get a specific portion of that revenue. Now, it isn't to say that you are going to make millions of dollars from affiliates. It is simply a component of how people are able to earn revenue on social media platforms and on motion platforms, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, whatever. Those links allow you to then be able to have another source of revenue. So if you have content that suddenly hits major traction, say you're a voice actor and a piece of your content around a specific microphone does really well, and you have an Amazon affiliate link for that microphone, and you earn 5% for every sale. If you assume that 7% of those 100,000 views actually go through to the page, and then of that, maybe say 20 or 30 people actually buy the microphone, you can then assume that you'll probably see at least a couple $1,000s from that specific affiliate link. So a lot of creators will have links to their cameras, their microphones, their computers, their software. People who are chefs will, again, have like their books, their resources, their tools, anything like that. We want to think about monetization on platforms from a standpoint of what is a holistic sense of not just ad revenue, not just sponsorship revenue. Where can we find courses that we can build? Where can we add in, other pieces of what we're able to do?
For the voice actor, part of it is that if you're narrating content, part of it, why you're doing this, or at least I would think part of why you're doing this, is people hear your narration and maybe they ultimately come back and want to hire you for your voiceover services, right? And they hear your storytelling, and so you monetize that way.
Really good example. SCP Explained, the gold play button up there. That is a channel that I voice. I am the sole voice of. It has 2.1 million subscribers. I was hired by a video game company to not only do all of their promos for their new game, but also do their yearly recap of their new games that come out. And because I have like a deep, brooding, horror-esque voice on that channel, there's SCP Explained. SCP, for those of you that don't know, it's basically like modern day X-Files for kids, kind of. And this is an animation channel. And in so doing, I have been able to make north of about $25,000 from that one video game company because they consistently hire me because of the videos they found me on from SCP Explained.
So more than one way to skin a cat here.
Hunter, does your class show us how to set up affiliate links? They do, because part of the course, that module isn't live right now, but every month I try and aim to add 2 to 3 modules a month of things that I learn, of new kind of tips or tricks. So the course is living. I only sell it for 2 months out of the year, but it is kind of an evolving textbook. So when you have access to it, you have access to it for life with my office hours and all that good stuff. So like with affiliate links or with, active monetization across multiple verticals, I really kind of talk about, the opportunities that are present there. So I want to get it because I see there's some really interesting.
Just one second. I want to mention we're going to close off the form for the giveaway in a couple minutes here. So I just put the link in the chat again. If you haven't filled it out already, Hunter's going to give away 2 copies of his class to people who are watching the live stream today. We're going to do that draw here before we wrap up at 2 o'clock. So I just put that link in. If you want to click that link for the Google form and enter, this is going to be your last chance to get your name in on the draw.
And also, there is, I don't know if we've talked about this, but there is a coupon code that we'll talk about at the end here for 25% off for those of you that did not get it. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But
I
I
want
did
to.
want I
Oh,
wanted to
I
get
want
into.
to look at this question here from Peter because I think this is a good
Yes,
one.
that's
You
the
recommend
exact.
picking one topic to create content around. So
Yeah,
if you have multiple areas or interests, each one of those is its own channel.
it could be, but I would highly suggest really looking at trends and looking at other channels in niches to figure out which have bigger audiences. Because if you have such a drill down niche, say you're really passionate about model rockets, me, or you're also really passionate about model trains. Look at channels that focus on model trains, compare that to model rockets, and use Google Trends or exploding topics to actually see which has better traction. Always go for the one that has the widest funnel first rather than the most focused funnel. You want to set yourself up for the best possible chance of success with the best and largest kind of wide mouth audience possible to funnel into your channel actively, if that makes sense. If you have multiple areas of interest and or expertise, you can absolutely make multiple channels. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but also keep in mind, if you're following my guideline of 4 long forms a month and 20 short forms a month, which is really kind of the target that I suggest to all of my clients, that's going to get pretty exhausting pretty
It's a lot
quickly.
of work.
So
You're going to need
it
a
is.
team.
Yes, absolutely. So the discount code also, really quickly, I realize it did not go live. It is all caps free advice Friday for 25% off on YouTube VO. So I highly suggest if you are interested and you don't win, because don't buy it until we
So you
announce
know
some
whether or not
winners.
you won. Yeah.
You might be the big wiener. So free advice Friday, all caps, 25% off the course. We'll talk about that a little later because I
So
want to get into some more questions here.
tell us a little bit about the course here because we've only got a couple of minutes left. So tell us a
Yes.
little bit about the course and then let's do the draw too.
Sure. So it's 3.5 hours of how I would take someone from a brand new, basically zero to hero, of you know absolutely nothing about content creation, but you want to drill down, you really want to get into it, and it is in the 4 verticals that you see there: creation, production, distribution, and monetization. So the course is broken down into those 4 sections. And then there are individual modules of each of how to create content, how to script content, where to find niches, where to find ideas, so on and so forth. The focus with this course, though, is getting someone ready and in the mindset to produce content constantly and consistently. I also offer individual one-on-one coaching, and it's been incredibly rewarding. I cap it per month of how many people I work with.
Mhm.
And I work with real estate agents, I work with solopreneurs, I work with other voice actors. But I become not just your coach, I become your producer. So if you're not producing the content, if you're not doing the thing, then we don't have anything to talk about. So
Right.
this course is really designed to get someone motivated, finding a niche, building out a platform, and then having active conversations with me. Again, I hold office hours every Friday. So if you can't afford to coach with me one-on-one, I really make sure that you have access and opportunity to be able to talk with me one-on-one of, hey, I have this question about YouTube Studio. I have this question about this specific content. I'm running into this problem. Or we just celebrate wins.
Can
This
we
is
talk
really.
about just curiosity? And I'm sure this is what some people are wondering when it comes to
Mhm,
voiceover. There's certain things you got to have before you're able to do voiceover. When it comes to taking this
mhm.
course, like, do we need to have Adobe Premiere or Final Cut
Nope.
Pro, or do you offer suggestions for, what do we need to edit
One,
videos, make
yeah,
videos, right? Like we've all got a phone, so you've got a camera.
and you should. By the way, I do not want you buying expensive cameras and expensive equipment. First off, all of you more than likely have a decent mic, so cool.
Yep.
You've already got that done. One of the most powerful editors out there right now is on your phone. It's CapCut. It's TikTok's own video editor, and there are people on Fiverr and Upwork who are charging upwards of $30 and $40 per short form to edit in CapCut, because CapCut if you edit in, like if you are editing in CapCut and then export directly from CapCut to TikTok, that actually gives like super secret little boost to the content that's going right out the gate.
Okay, interesting. So that's good to know then, is you don't need special equipment to get started, and you can certainly upgrade along the way. So
Yes.
have you got what you need to do a draw here?
Yeah, I think so. So we've got a wonderful group of people. So we're gonna do some random number generators. Let's see. All right, and here we go. Number 17 is Emily Lepore, who answered, "Are you human? Are any of us really alive?" No, we're all living in a simulation. Sorry to break it to you. So, Emily, you have won the first copy of YouTube Studio. I'll make sure to get that over to you shortly here, so you'll get added there. So, wiener number 1. All right, let's go for number 2. And drum roll, please. Number 11. Iris Perez, who also asks, "Are any of us really alive?" No. Again, we're stuck in a simulation.
We're getting highly philosophical here as we fill out forms.
Hey, man, you know what? Like, we live in a simulation. Iris and Emily, thank you so much. I will be adding you to the course shortly, so congratulations. Yeah. More. Fine, we'll do one more. Why not? We're here. We're gonna do a third.
Look at this. We're going into bonus rounds, people. We're going into bonus rounds.
Bonus round. So whoever gets this one, you count your lucky stars. 3, 2, 1. Number 24. Who is Lee Dixon, who did not answer, "Are any of us really alive?" You simply answered, "Yes, I am a human. Hate to break it to you. You're a simulation." Congratulations, Lee, Iris, and Emily. You've all won access to YouTube for VO.
So there you go. Now, for those of you now who didn't win, there is a link in the description to this live stream. There was also a comment that was posted for this live stream that can take you to the course. And Hunter, remind us again, what is the code?
The code is Free Advice Friday, all caps.
Okay.
For 25% off.
So there you go.
Yes, you absolutely have to do the thing. And I would absolutely love to give away a couple copies for free for VO Christmas.
There you go.
So we'll definitely figure out a way to do that.
We will get that taken care of for the 12 voiceover gifts of Christmas for sure, which, by the way, for those of you that are curious, I have actually started working on the 12 voiceover gifts of Christmas. Well, let's do this very quickly. If you want to get connected with Hunter, there's a few different ways that you can do it. He's on Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter. The URL for the course, of course, is youtubevo.com. Hunter and I also did a podcast together a couple of weeks ago. And if you want to continue on with this, because we talked about a lot of different things in the podcast from what we talked about today. Some of the stuff was the same, but a lot of it was different as well. So that is right here on the YouTube channel. You're able to check that out and listen to that. Go back and watch that episode of the podcast and learn some more. I also want to mention, I think Uncle Roy was watching, and Uncle Roy is going to be joining me on Free Advice Friday next Friday. So we will be live at 1 o'clock Eastern for home studio Q&A. So all of the questions that you would like to get answered about your home studio, your equipment, your microphones, Adobe Audition, whatever it is, all those fun things, make sure you join us for that. That is going to be live on Free Advice Friday here next week, which brings me to another point. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We got to get those views up so that instead of making 17 cents off this live stream, I can make like 25 maybe.
Well, I mean, hey man, you know, there's only one way to really do that, and again, that is make content.
Make content. That's it.
AKA
make content, make it consistently. And I think the other thing too, and you know, we talked about this in the podcast, but I think it's worth reminding. We look at somebody like Mr. Beast and think like, oh my gosh, I don't have the budget, I don't have the team, I don't have the capacity. But then if you look at some of the content that goes viral, that is just shot on a phone and it's shaky, and sometimes the audio isn't even great, but it's authentic. It's genuine content. Some of those things, you know, it just goes to show that we're not looking for Hollywood level production in order to be able to do this. And so you can just get started where you're at. And then, like I said, it's incremental improvements along the way.
Yeah. And I will always say this to anyone who will listen. Just make the video. If you have a good idea, make the video. Your first 100 videos are going to be terrible. But if you are in the process of doing, if you're in the process of making, you will find your audience, you will find your niche. And I'm not also trying to say like, oh, this should be your end all be all focus, but this really should be an opportunity that can be a component of your industry, of what you're doing as a voice actor already. It is just another component of your business.
Right on. Well, Hunter, this has been fantastic, and I am very grateful for you coming in and giving us a little bit more of your time and
Absolutely.
answering some more questions and helping us to figure some of this stuff out.
Sure.
It's one of those things where you know, the more you do it, it's getting in your reps, right? It's getting in your reps. Like you said, the first 100 videos probably not going to be great. I can attest to that. If you actually go back and watch the first 100 videos on my channel here, actually, please don't do that. But
I'm doing that right now.
Yeah, go back to some of the early stuff on there. Just a reminder, the course is at youtubevo.com. Like I mentioned, there is a link in the description. You got 13 days left before the course goes offline. So do you know if they don't go in, you know, if we're not joining this time around, do you know when you're thinking you're going to release it again?
So,
just for curiosity.
yeah. So at VO Atlanta, and only during VO Atlanta, there will be the price is actually going to go up because I'm adding in some really great Q&As with some pretty big creators. So we have the former retention director from Mr. Beast, who's going to be part of the course next time around. We have a couple members of different YouTube channels. I'm trying to see if I can even get, you know, some pretty major names to talk about their experience on YouTube as a part of the course. So the next time around is going to be the weekend of VO Atlanta. That's when the pre-order is going to be live for 50% off on the new price. And then from there, it will go live for the month of April, and then it will be offline until probably around September or October. My focus right now has been releasing the course when YouTube releases new updates to the algorithm, to the platform. And normally that comes around Q2 in the beginning of Q4. So,
all right, there you go.
Yes. Thank you all
I
so
just
much.
put the link in there again, and that Free Advice Friday code, just as a reminder, that's good for 7 days. So that is good until, I believe that puts us at October 26th. So for those of you that are interested in being able to take advantage of that promo code, save 25% off. I put the link into the chat there again, but you've got 7 days to take advantage of that promo code if you are interested in getting in on this class. And I think if you've given YouTube any level of consideration, I mean, it's like I tell people when you're taking Voice 123, if you're going to sign up for Voice 123, take the V123 Pros course, learn how to use Voice 123 the right way, and that's how you're going to get your return on your investment. If you're seriously thinking about YouTube could be a marketing stream for me, and you've got realistic expectations about how you're going to monetize it, you know, the work that's going to go into it or whatever, then learn how to do it the right way. Skip the learning curve, right? It took me 10 years to figure out some of the stuff that I probably could have figured out in 2 hours if Hunter's course existed back then. And so that's the other thing to take into consideration, right? It gives you the ability to jump that learning curve. So Hunter, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much again for coming and sharing. I certainly do appreciate it. YouTube for VO, how to use YouTube to build new revenue streams. There's the course. I pinned the link in the chat, and it is in the description as well. So make sure you check that out. Thank you so much, Hunter. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Mark. Thanks so much for having me. I hope everyone enjoyed. Yeah, I hope to see you all in the course. And for those of you who want to coach with me too, and you want to work with me one-on-one, all the information is on the site.
All right. Go make your first YouTube video. There's your homework for the weekend. Everybody's got to make their first YouTube video. Let us know that it's posted by Monday. Thanks,
Thank you
everyone.
all.
Enjoy your
Bye
weekend.
now.